getting too big, Enzo. Don't take the microphone. You stop it. You stop it. He wants to eat the microphone. Yeah, you.
Hi.
Don't be timid, you turkey. So I didn't shoot like any video this weekend from working on the car because I really didn't work on the car. We decided to have like a little impromptu family vacation, so we just took a vacation to Hot Springs and stayed at this awesome Airbnb. It's like I don't know how old the house is, but it's a beautiful old house here in the gangster district of Hot Springs. So really enjoyed it. Enzo liked it. It was a pet-friendly facility, so there was lots of dogs barking, but that's all right. Yeah, we still slept well. And there's a mermaid room, and look at I got my very own mermaid. See?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
I gotta check out our new license plate. So awesome. Anyway, we're heading back to town. We're gonna get some donuts and then we're gonna head back to the house. Sorry, this turned into more of a vlog than it was anything else, but say hi, Enzo, one more time. Yeah, he's busy. There's a lot of dog smells here. You can't eat the microphone. Stop looking at the microphone. It's not toy. Alright, since I kind of teased you guys, I didn't do a lot this weekend. I got some of the wiring sorted out. I put the alternator on. I still have to seal up the water pump on this thing. I went ahead and did the PCV valve and got that all taken care of. I converted it over so it fits this manifold just right. Oh, what else did I do? I went ahead and got the ground cable from the Element. It's got two good points here. It's got a ground to the chassis and to the transmission. Put a ground up here also to the valve cover. I may still do one more ground somewhere on the car. But as far as that, the wiring, all the sensors are all matched up, plugged up. One thing I did delete was there was just a evap canister plug here and evap sensor, so I got to plug this here, just a vacuum assist on that. I went ahead and put this brake booster solenoid stuff on the inside. I did start to kind of get an idea with the wiring and what I need to do and where we need to go with it. So I have the Haltech plugged into the harness, and it has the wiring harness from the engine and also the standalone race unit from RightWire. So that's what that is a fuse panel with relays and everything for the C101 plug that plugs into it. So I've been doing a lot of research, and I think this is a pretty good setup. I have a few questions for Ryan that I sent him an email about, and as soon as he gets back to me, I'll know exactly if the C101 will work for this, because I know on some applications the engine harness you have to switch some, or you have to repin some of that C101 plug. Not a big deal, it's just part of figuring this all out. I do have an idea about doing a kick panel right here to mount the ECU and that fuse panel too. So it'll be up over here out of the way. Got a few other areas I could put it, but I think that's going to be the optimal spot. That way it's easy to work on, easy to access, and it looks cool. Oh, for the rest of it though, that's going to be it for now. I do have the stuff to go ahead and do the brakes, but I don't really feel like bleeding the brakes right now. It should be all good with the new prop valve and everything and the new master cylinder. So as far as that's concerned, oh yeah, and the Haltech banner. I showed that on Instagram, but I hadn't showed it on the video yet. Thank you, Chris. As it stands right now, if I was able to, I could put a battery on it, kick the ECU on, put a base tune, and I could probably get it to crank over. But I want to go through and double check all my wiring, double check all my grounds before I go and do anything with the ECU, because I don't want to fry anything, especially this expensive. So I could probably get you a video of it clicking it and cranking it over and it turning over. But for my sanity and my pocketbook and my sponsors, I'm going to wait. But I am going to give you guys a wagon update that I solely promised you. I know it says in the title, but it's kind of a surprise. Let's go to my shop now. And back to the studio. And now for the extreme extremely overdue garage wagon update. Yeah, so about that. There's about 2 weeks in between when I started this video and to now. I just had a lot of stuff going on in between and some life changes that are going to be coming up, so stay tuned for some of those info. So little updates here and there. I got all this cleaned up a little bit. I did some wire tucking, some new wire routing. I went through and I put this power block here, and I finally did that I've been meaning to do for a while. That way some of my positive cables are out of the way. It's a little more cleaned up in there. We got the transmission back the other day. This is what I was really waiting to do the update on the video on, because I have the LSD in. You can't really see inside there because it's got the LSD blocking it all up. But Dustin went ahead, redid all that for me. I'll let him go ahead and do it. Leave it in the hands of the experts. The Fiesta update, I haven't done anything about that either in a while. So I just found out that the CAS LSD that was inside the Fiesta was bad. So Preston put one in his customer's car and the diff actually blew up after 1 mile of testing. So they did the break-in like normal, and then 1 mile of just testing on actual Sage, and the diff blew up. Exactly like mine did. So I went through both those transmissions that you see under the table over there just to get to this point where I have a dead Fiesta still. So I have a new in-factory LSD to go inside the Fiesta, and I will do that soon, but side note's over with. Anyway, back to Wagon Update. So this is all good and all ready. Dustin, there are some problems with some of these bolts that came out of here. A couple of these he had to replace with his own. They're a little bit shorter than they're necessary, because when he went to go back them out, a couple of them actually just broke. So that was kind of weird, and there's actually a longer bolt up here that's got to be replaced. And anyway, I got to go through. I ordered some parts from Honda Parts now to get those all swapped out before I put the transmission back in and stab it back to the motor. So speaking of the motor, it's kind of at a bad angle, but this is something I've been hiding for a while. The yellow valve cover. Now it's kind of hard to tell the color on camera. When I turn the exposure correctly, you can kind of see the color. It's a really rich yellow, and I've been a huge fan of yellow valve covers in cars for forever. I don't know. I like the way it looks. It looks like a big Lego brick, and you'll understand a little bit more when it goes in the car. Let me know what you guys think about it. I absolutely am in love with it. It's the first real pretty part that I've ever had done. It's all powder coated. It's got clear coat and powder coat on top of it as well. So I'm really excited to get that back in the car. And on top of that, I've got a new intake manifold gasket on there. As you can see, I got the oil pan off. I'm fixing to, I guess you got the correct oil pan gasket in. They actually sent me the wrong one. I think this one's a B series one they sent me, because this is not even close to the right size. The old Velcro's on off there. I had a little bit of leaking going on around here, so it was needing to be replaced anyway. So I will get that on probably tonight and get this thing all buttoned back up. Actually, you know what? I need my torque wrench, which is that dad's. That's why I haven't done this yet. I knew there was some reason I haven't put that back together yet. And this is going to be one of the bigger updates. So if you saw my wagon at the off-road park a while back, I was on a really steep incline on a long hill, and it started smoking really, really bad. And I thought that maybe the rings gave out or something happened, and I couldn't quite figure out what happened. But after a little bit of research and talking to Justin, I found out the black box here, when you're on a hill, so the oil drains out of the head, and it goes right past this port here that actually goes to the black box. So when you're on a hill, that black box actually fills up with oil, and it shoots through the PCV valve into your intake manifold. So what it's doing is it's just spraying oil into your intake manifold, which is not ideal when you're trying to make power going up a hill. So that's why I was pouring smoke out of it, and that's why I lost power and bogged down and went super rich. So my solution. So oil has to go down. You see this ridge here. Let's go focus here. You see this ridge right here. Oil goes down here and drains back in the oil pan. Now what I decided to do was I got a fitting here, a barbed fitting, so oil will actually go over the top of that and not try to go right back into there. So I cut out a slit, that way it can re-drain the oil back easily without having to go through that tube and slowing the progress of getting oil back. But that'll be solution one. So I went ahead and test fit it inside the extra block I have, and there's plenty of clearance. I actually may shave it a little bit down just so it's not so steep or so deep in there. But for right now, it's gonna just kind of stay like that. And what I have also, besides this being barbed off, you can go ahead, I bought this plug put an AN line. This plug actually goes in here, and you run an AN line to a catch can. But I didn't like that idea because I don't think it's going to help me on a long hill. So what I ended up doing, besides the fitting here, is I went ahead and got this thing fitted up to run my own catch can that'll go up here. So I have a catch can that'll sit up here. It'll actually go between that and the PCV valve. I think it'll sit right there just fine. I went ahead and I haven't put it back in yet just in case when I'm putting the motor in it gets in the way. But I think that is going to be a choice. I think that's going to be really, really, really good for what I want to do. So that is probably just about it. I don't know if I've talked about this yet or not. So my good buddy Mitch at Melee Designs got me a battery box just for the wagon. And I want to give a huge shout out to Mitch. He always comes in the clutch. I told him that we're going to do the wagon shoot at the end of June, and that didn't end up panning out, obviously, because I was waiting on parts to get through. But he got me rush this box, and he actually got me this Odyssey battery and a sponsorship deal with Odyssey. So they're actually sponsoring the wagon now. So he secured me the sponsorship, and he got me the battery box through his sponsorship. And he sent all this stuff to me with the plate, the mount, and all of those stuff. And this is going to be part of his off-road series, the 900 series box and the 900 series battery. So this is going to provide plenty of juice for the wagon, for all the accessories, everything else I'm going to need to do. You can see it's a good sized battery. It's a big, heavy battery. It's not quite a race battery like I have in Fiesta, but it's good for powering a lot of stuff, and it's going to be a good deep cycle, everything I needed to do. And plus it's going to have the reliability of Odyssey, which I've had great luck at Odyssey, and that's why I was super glad to have them on board with this wagon build. So huge thanks to those guys. I haven't talked about it already. I'm not sure, it's been so long since I've done any wagon updates. But there's that. Oh, inside, nothing there, nothing changed. One other thing. Not really that important, but I do have a wheel bearing to go ahead and replace on this side, because that wheel bearing is toast. And it's my fault. This is the very first wheel bearing I've ever changed up by myself. When I originally did this setup, there's some play in it, and you can see the play definitely when the wheel's on here. But when I installed it, I think I hit the inner race pretty good when I was trying to push it in, and that's just 100% my fault. The other wheel bearing is fine. That was the second one I did, and it turned out pretty good, so I'm not too worried about that one. And one last detail. I know this has been kind of a rush of talk. But I made a thing. I made a spoiler for this. So this is the spare spoiler that I actually had off the Element that I found in the junkyard. And I decided that I want to try it out. So what I did is chopped the middle of it out about, I want to say, probably 5 inches. Put it together, and I'm actually going to have to take it back apart. It's only really held together by this vinyl wrap right now in the middle. But I'm going to take apart the middle and actually fiberglass it all in, make it good and solid. But you can see, I think it turned out pretty sick. I think it's going to work really well. I'd like to see it more when it's on the ground and all of this stuff. But it it matches the front end. You can kind of see there. I think it's going to work out pretty sick. I like it a lot. And I really haven't decided what I'm going to do about the middle. I'm not sure if I'm going to wrap this here in the middle or what I'm going to do. I may wrap it black, kind of to match the roof up here. I'm not real sure just yet. And I need to probably mold this a little better or do something. I don't know. But for right now, I like it. It's just kind of a, let me try it and see if it works idea. And it's actually got, a little bit of windbreak underneath there. I dig it. I think it's going to be sick. I think it's going to work well. But anyway, yeah, sorry about the garage being a mess. Sorry about this video taking so long to come out, but I am super ready to get the supercharger and all that stuff back on the car because it's time for the wagon to come back to life. I really miss having this thing on the road. And I'm really pumped about getting it back in the dirt. I have a whole new exhaust I want to build for it. Oh, speaking of exhaust, I don't show you the header. God. So backlogged on videos. I don't know what I've shown you and what I haven't shown you. So I finished up the header. And actually have all the footage of me welding the header up. I just hadn't really showed it. So it turned out pretty good. My first TIG job ever, and of course, And there's some stuff that didn't turn out so great, but for the most part, I am super happy with it. I have to go back and do a little bit of finish welding in here inside the very middle where all the collector comes together, because in the middle is kind of hard to get with a TIG. And for this, so what I originally had planned was I was going to have to chop this somewhere and then run an elbow. So what I'll end up doing is probably chopping it right about that weld, putting this here, putting this 90 here into a V-band, and then I'll be able to run the exhaust wherever I want it to go. So that'll be coming up very soon as well. I think for the time being though, I'm going to put the stock exhaust back on it so I can drive it to Dad, so I'll have a little bit more access to my TIG torch and all that stuff, and I can actually do the whole thing proper, because I'm really pumped to get this thing on the road and have it all proper and have a good exhaust on it. And I've just got so much things in store for it, and it's time. Every summer it seems like it goes down for a little while and then I have to get back at it. So I'll throw in some bonus clips here of me welding up the header. But for the most part, that's it. And that's the whole update on the wagon and the CRX and everything else. And there we go. So anyway, enjoy some weld porn, and I'll catch you guys soon. See you guys. All right, so I've got the purge set up ready. I've got the purge line in, got it capped off on both sides of the tinfoil. The gaps are pretty good. I think I went ahead and polished up the joints there, as you can see. The prettier you can make it, I learned a lot with MIG. The prettier the metal, the less contaminated, the better the weld's actually going to look and actually going to be a good weld. It took me a while to kind of get this set up, but I think I finally got it all barbed up, and I got my purge set up. Got a feed and a purge line, as you can see. This should be good. Well, I'll kind of keep an eye on it, see where it goes, but I think that's going to work. So just a ball of aluminum foil in there, and I'm going to start sticking metal together. I'm going to start on this lap first and just see how that goes, see my voltage and amperage and all that stuff is all taken care of, and kind of go from there.